What day is it today?
It's boarding day.
That was better. Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. I'm Patrick.
I'm Peter.
This is High Seas Escapades, and today we're going to be talking about our top tips for Embarkation Day, or in other words boarding day. Now this will mainly be aimed at newer cruisers who may not know what to expect on the day they board the ship, but we hope that some of the tips will be useful to some of you more experienced cruisers. Before we continue, we'd really appreciate it if you would hit the subscription button and the notification bell so you'll be updated whenever we upload any new videos to the channel. Thank you.
Yeah. So our top tip is arrive at your port the day before you're due to set sail. Reasons for that? Well, depending on how you're going to get there, by plane, by train, by car, they're all prone to delays. You know, your airline could be late, the flight could get cancelled, you're on the motorway and you know there's an accident and it's closed, so you've got to take a long diversion, the trains go on strike, who knows? So if you can, arrive the day before.
Okay, so our second tip is to plan your transfers in advance. Now, you get up the day of your cruise, you try to book a transfer, a taxi or a minicab to the port, and you find that they're extremely busy because there could be hundreds of other people in your area trying to do the same. So we would advise pre-booking that at a time that's suitable for you.
Yeah, a lot of hotels do shuttles to the port, and you probably find that they have set times when they leave. But my tip again would be, if you check in the night before, talk to them then about the shuttle and get yourself booked on for one that suits your time. So alternatively, you know, there are other ways of getting to the port. If you're doing a one-way rental, you know, make sure that you timed it so that you can get to the rental office, drop your car off and use their shuttle to the port. Okay, tip number 3, documentation for your actual boarding. More and more now are using apps so that you do a lot of online check-in before you actually get to the port. However, they may still need to see physical documentation such as your boarding documentation that they've sent you as a result of checking in online. Obviously your government ID that you need to provide, and any other, and especially in these times at the moment with you know vaccinations or whatever. So make sure you've got all those in order, and also your luggage tags. So you know, make sure you don't put those on if you're flying on the day or the day before onto your bags. Put them on as you leave to get to the port.
We've got an example of some of the luggage tags that we actually use.
Yeah, what we use, I mean, there's various sizes because each cruise line, a lot of them, you know, you're printing your luggage tags, or they ask you to do that if you can do that in advance. So you can see there are various ones, but we've got a couple here, examples there that are different sizes, different cruise lines, but they're easily available. Get those, get a good strong one with a metal hook on it and an eyelet in there so that they won't rip off. Sealed, so if it is raining, unfortunately on the day you get in there, and because your bags are outside for quite a length of time, they won't get wet. We've used them many times and it's been really good. A note on that, if you get to the point where you can't print your luggage tags for some reason, don't panic. You know, when you get to the port, they're very used to this, and as long as you know which cabin you're in and you've got your documentation, they will handwrite them, and I'll guarantee your bags will still reach your stateroom. Okay, so another tip is about boarding, or actually checking in at the port. More and more these days, people are getting allocated a time or choosing a time when they're to arrive at the port. The reasons for this are several. One is obviously as the ships get bigger, there's more and more crowds, so they want to try and minimise that and get a nice passenger flow from arriving at the port and actually getting on the ship. Also though, which is relevant these days, is the fact that in a lot of cases you've got to take a test before you actually get into checking in. So you can imagine with the volume of people, if they can streamline that and make us flow nice and smooth by people coming in at certain times, then it's going to be better.
I mean, we know everyone's eager to get on board, but we've experienced firsthand the chaos that can ensue if everybody turns up at the same time.
Yeah, I think the important bit is, that don't be under any illusion. Some cruise lines will turn you away if you turn up early. And let's say you've checked out of your hotel, where you're going to go. So as much as you can, I know it's not always possible, but stick very closely to that boarding time if you've been allocated one.
Okay, our next tip is to ensure that you do not pack any prohibited items into your luggage. Now, this does vary between cruise lines. We would recommend that you read your particular cruise line's frequently asked questions section, where they will list specific items. But just as an example, some of the things that you're not allowed to take onto a cruise ship are irons, steamers, candles, naked flame candles, basically anything that would generate heat or flames for obvious reasons.
Okay, so you finally got on board. So you want something to eat, which is all about a cruise, is food and drink. So everybody normally would head to the buffet. It's not that it's a bad idea, but at the moment, if your cabins aren't available, you're carrying your hand baggage with you, and trundling that around the ship. And buffets, very popular, but also very busy. So more and more these days, a lot of cruise lines have alternative venues that are complimentary. So if you get a chance to look at that before you get on board, you might have an idea where to go. If not, ask the staff. Say, is there anything else other than the buffet available? And as I say, more and more now, there are more complimentary venues. So go and try those. You can always get to the buffet the next day when it's not as busy. So it'll make it less stressful. Get yourself a drink, sit down in a quiet area.
Yeah, some examples are, I think, on Royal Caribbean, especially on the Oasis class, they've got the Park Cafe.
Yeah.
I think on Norwegian, you can go to, instead of the Garden Cafe, you can try their local bar and grill, which used to be called O'Sheehan's, didn't
Yes,
it?
yeah.
But those are alternative venues that you can certainly try.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, most of them now have got some, even if it's around the pool deck, it may only be an extension of what they provide in the buffet. But at least, you can go and relax somewhere without worrying about big queues and lines of people waiting to get something to eat.
Yeah, it can be really hard to find a seat sometimes. I know from a previous experience, we've walked around, say, the Windjammer on Royal, and there's just not been a seat. They urge people not to, once they finish eating, to move on, but some of them don't. They like to sit and have a natter for obvious reasons. So,
well, yeah, in a lot of cases they're waiting for the cabins to become available, so they've nowhere else to go really. Have a look around, and if it's a nice day, invariably a lot of places have got outdoor seating, so take yourself out there and just nice and relax and have a bit of lunch if that's what you want, and wait for your cabins to be ready. Okay, another tip, obviously a lot of people like to switch their phone off and put it in the safe, and that's it, and just disconnect from social media, etc. Other people unfortunately do have to connect for different reasons, but our tip for that would be that as soon as that ship starts sailing, put your phone into airplane mode. The reason for that is, many phones these days now will automatically connect to what's known as cellular at sea. Now, unfortunately, your inclusive minutes, whatever deal you've got with your service provider, isn't going to cover that. And invariably, even if you're not making a call, but somebody calls you, you're going to pay a hefty price per minute. So that's the main tip. More and more these days, again, put your phone into airplane mode. A lot of them are now using apps that you used for menus, booking, etc. And there's nothing wrong with putting it into airplane mode and switching your Wi-Fi on. In a lot of cases, you'll connect to the ship's Wi-Fi, but that will allow you to use the app for free. If you want to do any more, like social media or getting your emails, you probably will have to buy a Wi-Fi package.
Our next tip is to book speciality restaurants in advance. Now, speciality restaurants are those restaurants that you pay an extra charge for. Not everybody eats in them, they like to stick to the main dining room. But if you do enjoy booking those restaurants, then we would recommend doing it in advance. Ideally, before you get on board, you can do it online normally. But if that's not possible, then we would suggest that once you're on board to go straight to the restaurant. There's normally someone there that can take bookings directly. But don't panic if you can't get a time that you want. They sometimes hold reserve places.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times you're probably with some cruise lines you'll get offered these packages as you're actually getting on board. But as I say, if you have already booked and you couldn't get the time because they don't allow you to do that, but they allow you to buy the package, go to the restaurants because they're all open on boarding day because they want to advertise and they want to get people in. But as Patrick said, don't panic if online you couldn't get the time you want because they always hold seats back. But as long as you do it as soon as you can, I'll guarantee that you'll get in. Okay, so another tip is your carry-on bag. So you imagine you've been travelling all day, even if it is only from your hotel, you've been lining up waiting to check in, and therefore the first thing you want to do after having some lunch, which we mentioned before, is go and relax around the pool. So perhaps you want to take a change of clothes in there so that you can go and do that. Another important part though of your carry-on bag is the fact, if you imagine there are literally thousands of suitcases that need to be delivered to everybody's cabin. So it takes a while. Now, let's say you prefer to have early dining, and there is never a guarantee that your bags with all your main clothing will arrive in time. So another tip would be for that first evening, just put something in your carry-on if you wish to change. Obviously in there is all your toiletries if you can, because again, don't put all your toiletries in your main bag. It may not turn up.
Oh yeah, make sure you carry any medicines in your carry-on.
I was going to say definitely that as well, because again, they will get your bag to you, but they're necessarily, and we've been lucky, and a lot of times they have been there in time, but when you're going down that corridor to your cabin, you'll see the thousands of bags that they're trying to deliver.
Okay, so our final tip is to make sure that you enjoy sail away. Now, a lot of cruise lines, as the ship leaves port, they have some kind of sail away party, which is normally up on the pool deck. Now, these are often quite loud and boisterous affairs, which some people love, and it's very much part of their cruise experience. If, like us, we normally have a balcony cabin, we like to enjoy a glass of fizz out on the balcony as we sail away. That's just us, but as I say, make sure you find a good spot. It depends on the port that you're leaving from. Find a good spot so you can wave to the crowds and see the sights as you sail out. Please take a look at all the other cruise videos that we've uploaded to our channel, and once again we would kindly ask that you subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified of any new videos that we upload. We've also got a website at highseasescapades.co.uk, which is full of a lot more cruise tips and ideas and reviews, so please visit there if you can. Thank you for watching, and happy sailing.
Happy sailing. Okay, so our top tip for... Oh,
Carry on, you don't need to stop it, I can just edit it.
yeah.
So I'll just read through it. Hang on a sec, what day is it today? It's
Boarding day.
That was badly timed.